One man, consumed by a burning hatred, hunts a ghost from his past. For Captain Justin Gatewood, the war isn't over until vengeance is his.
Welcome to hell, Captain Curry.
Cole Younger and Frank James were two of the most prominent outlaws in the American Old West, deeply intertwined with the notorious James Younger gang that operated in the period following the Civil War. Their lives, like many figures of their time, were heavily shaped by the conflict and its aftermath.
They're robbing the bank! They're robbing the bank! They're robbing the bank!
In Singletree, Montana, a group of ordinary citizens dares to dream. They're about to face the professional might of the Excelsior Aces in a game that's more than just baseball. It's about the heart of a community. From the shadows of revenge, to the thunder of defiance, to the triumph of the human spirit, stories from the American frontier. Experience the legends. Live the frontier.
In the tumultuous era of the American Civil War, two men's lives were forever altered by a fateful encounter on the battlefield. This is the tale of Captain Justin Gatewood, a Confederate officer who would stop at nothing to seek revenge on Union Captain William Curry for the death of his beloved brother. Gatewood was arrested for the attempted murder of William Curry and malicious wounding of the sheriff, and sentenced to 10 years in a federal prison.
25 years ago, in dead of winter, you force-marched a wounded Confederate captain and what was left of his men to a prison camp, thinking, at least with some food in their belly, maybe they'll get to see their farm again someday. Or at least, at the very least, they won't be bushwhacking any more of your men. Most of those poor bastards never made it off Rock Island. Nobody's fault. Even the Rebs that did survive, they didn't blame anyone. It was the weather and disease and their piss poor bad luck that killed them. Still, Gatewood thinks...
You know, Captain, 25 years ago, every man was out on a limb. It didn't matter what color you were wearing, or the color of your skin for that matter. It took a lot of bones in the dirt for those of us left standing to be able to climb down from that limb and stand on the earth again. Weren't able to put things in the past where they belong. They carry it, dried and caked in their souls, and nothing can move it.
Do you think it's not over?
It ain't over. It ain't never over.
That will be all, Sergeant Major.
Sir.
Take a seat, Gatewood. You've been the guest of our disciplinary barracks for 5 years, half of your expected tenancy. But it looks as if the governor has terminated your lease. Perhaps his trip to Europe shed a liberal light how we best deal with those who break our laws. Executive Office, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, October 14, 1887. For the reason that the above-named convict has served out his term of sentence in the prison and was discharged therefrom on this 15th day of October, 1887, that the good citizens ask it. He is granted a full pardon and restored to full citizenship and the right of suffrage by order of the governor. Nary a word, Mr. Gatewood? Well, it seems that the same forces that put you here instead of a federal prison have conspired to set you free. And I'm the messenger. I serve this flag, sir. Have always served it with pride and dignity. And when I see it spat upon by those of privilege, it makes my stomach turn. Forgive my venom, Mr. Gatewood. Truth be known, your impact on our young officers here has been considerable. For that, I thank you. Politics. 35 years of fighting Sioux, Cheyenne, Comanche, even each other. No regrets, not a single one, except politics. Judging from the letters you've posted to Texas and Mexico over the last few weeks, I imagine you'll be heading south. Sergeant Renfro.
Captain Gatewood, you're leaving. Got the whole place roused.
Why is that, Sergeant?
Well, the men think of you not as a prisoner, but as a teacher.
When I first came here, I was a Caliban to those men. An ignorant, loathsome, dangerous beast, a monster.
People are just people. These young shaved-tails show up thinking they know everything. And you're the enemy they would have whipped in 3 weeks back in Virginia.
Same ones that bury Crazy Horse at Little Bighorn 10 years ago, had they been out of their knee breeches.
Same ones. You taught them well. It wasn't long before they understood how much you knew about the world, how much they didn't.
Incarceration forces a man to narrow his pursuit of happiness. My experiences, my books provided diversion for me and perhaps for those callow souls that were forced to listen. Nothing more.
Captain, where will you go?
I'm going home. I'm going to see my daughter. I wish you well, Sergeant Major. Please know that I appreciate your sense of decency and respect your admirable conduct in the face of the enemy. You will indeed enter your house justified.
Who cares? I'm so glad you're home, Daddy.
Have you ever thought that you could have died on the road to Rock Island instead of your brother? Or you could have died in the camp with your men, but you didn't.
Shall we speculate as to why I didn't die? Shall we look to a higher purpose? God's plan? God's whim?
Curry wasn't responsible for what happened to your brother or your men any more than the man who shot me was responsible. It was war, Justin, and awful things happen in war. Bury your hatred, man. This is your chance for a future. For you and for Helen. And very likely your last chance.
Calvin, please.
Still bent on revenge, Gatewood hatches another plan to kill Curry.
Your daddy looked like the kind of man who knew how to get what he wanted.
There was a time. But he grew to see things not as they were, but as they could have been. His way of dealing with disappointment.
Why do you think Curry will show? We don't have the girl and we don't even know his plan.
We don't need the girl. As long as she is away, and Osage Station is in his plans, he'll come.
Well, it seems complicated to me. Mr. Gatewood, why don't you let me handle Curry? I'll make it look like an accident.
It is a matter of honor. Take this late tomorrow afternoon to Curry.
To confront and kill Curry, Gatewood and Creed Logan kidnap Curry's daughter and hold her hostage.
Welcome to hell, Captain Curry.
I've come. Where's my daughter?
Your daughter is safe. I too have a daughter. And I know your fears.
Then why would you take mine?
You're here, aren't you? You have my word. She will not be harmed.
Your word? I'll see my daughter now.
You understand. I'm going to kill you, Captain Curry.
Something you've tried before.
I've learned from my failure. I've had time. 5 years. Every single day. Detail by detail. I've dreamt. I've planned this moment. Shut away in my cell while you lived in the light, advising a daughter, comforting a daughter, ripping from me precious time as surely as you ripped the life of my brother from this earth.
I'm not responsible for your brother's death. I did what I had to do. Do you think I'm proud about marching you poor bastards to that camp? I live with the horror just like you do.
How dare you compare your loss?
Understand one thing, Gatewood. Neither of us is afraid to die. We've had a lot to do with death, you and I. And even though the cries and the blood still plague me, my conscience does not.
Conscience. The word a coward uses when...
Enough! Enough talk!
Kate!
End this thing now! Kill him!
Stand down, Creed. Put up your gun.
Let her go! Now!
Untie the girl. Curry. Tell your daughter to leave. To go home.
Are you out of your mind? We can't let her go.
Man does not make war on children.
You're a fool. I may not be good enough for your daughter. But I'll show you how to finish this thing.
Perhaps another time, Captain Curry.
Perhaps in hell, Captain Gatewood.
Cole Younger and Frank James were two infamous figures in American history, best known for their association with the outlaw group known as the James Younger Gang. Like Cole Younger, Frank James joined the Confederate guerrillas during the Civil War, serving under William Quantrill and later with his brother, Jesse James. Let's listen to Frank and Cole talk to famed lawman Bat Masterson about their early days.
How did you two good souls crawl into so many dark holes?
Maybe a couple of young man brothers were riding back to Missouri from the States' war. They get home, and the new order has given their farm to a Yank. That's okay. Carpetbagger offered them a job on their own farm, slapping hogs.
Same thing in town, too. Sweep my floors, Reb. Clean out this platoon, Reb. Hell, couldn't vote, couldn't even preach in a church.
Well, you preach it.
You're missing the point, Masterson. It's not that I wanted to, it's that I couldn't.
Maybe these fellas could think that the bankers and the carpetbaggers that took all their money deserve to be got after.
For example.
Huh?
You are talking metaphorically, aren't you there, Frank? I mean, you're not saying that we were robbing anybody.
Still, if some of those land robbers and carpetbaggers took a bullet...
For example.
What are you, his lawyer?
Who could say who's the bad guy here, for example? I mean, they're just trying to get back what these people took from them.
To brighter days, gentlemen. May all our dark holes be filled with light. Yes, to that I will drink.
Well, Bat, I'm gonna pass on that drink because I kind of like having a little darkness with my light.
I guess we're just more comfortable living with our shadows, Bat.
Well, hell. I'll drink to that then.
A decade ago, the final act of the James Younger Gang took place back on September 7, 1876, when the James Younger Gang attempted to rob a bank in Northfield, Minnesota. 2 of the outlaws entered the bank, as the remaining 5, led by Cole Younger, remained on the street to provide cover. The crime soon went awry when the townspeople set off the alarm and ran for their guns. Younger and his brothers began to fire in the air to clear the streets, but the townspeople opened a deadly hail of bullets, killing 2 gang members and badly wounding Bob Younger. As the townfolk formed posses to pursue the fleeing gang, the outlaws separated. The James brothers made it back to Missouri, but the 3 younger brothers did not. They and another gang member, Charlie Pitts, waged a gun battle with a local posse in a wooded ravine along the Wharton River west of Medelia, Minnesota. Pitts was killed, and Cole, Jim, and Bob Younger were badly wounded and captured. Cole spent the next decade in prison and was released in the custody of Marshal Bill Tillman to make a silent film about a bank robbery with real outlaws and lawmen.
Damn. I never do get used to seeing that mess of scars.
Ancient ghost, continue to haunt. 11 from Northfield alone. That, wasn't our best adventure there, Frank.
Nope. Yet here you stay in body and soul.
Evidently. Well, at least I'll look good while Tillman humiliates me in front of the rest of the world. The upside is, though, he might be able to make me look 20 years younger.
It's too late for guys like us.
Perhaps. But perhaps it's not too late to set it right.
Set what right, Cole?
Northfield, Minnesota.
Northfield? There ain't no setting that right, Cole. The minute we hauled out of that bank, we didn't have a chance. I mean, you still got the scars to prove it. It cost us dearly.
I gotta set it right, Frank. And this might be my last chance. And the upside is getting to knock that self-righteous Bill Tillman off his high horse. There's nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
There's always a consequence, Cole.
Perhaps, Frank, we were alive back then. Hell, they were writing books about us, the Robin Hoods of the West. Now, we're just fodder for the likes of Tillman. Forgotten relics from a forgotten age.
You know, Cole, I got a good life here. I own my business. I'm making a living. I mean, yeah, it's a little boring, you know? I'm kind of bored out of my head. Every day's the same, you know, stitching this and measuring that. I'm like a old maid or something. But I got respect. But I stand for nothing. Oh my God. What do you got in mind for me now, Mr. Satan?
What if we rob the bank for real?
Why?
Humiliate the great Bill Tillman. Hell, if he has his way, we'll be laughingstock.
On the other hand, if we can turn the tables, rob that bank for real, then it's Tillman and Masterson who play the fools, and we become the legends.
We might become dead legends.
No, I have no intention of dying.
Frank, are you in?
As long as it's not another Northfield. Now, how do you see this playing out, Cole?
Come on. Whatever you two are planning, I want in.
This calls for a drink.
You forget your place, Murphy?
No, Cole, I'm right where I meant to be all along.
That's not part of the plan, Murphy.
Yeah, well, there's been a slight change in plan. No need to go there, Cole. Now, what is your name?
Mordecai Goldstein? My friends call me Mort.
Mort. Well, I want you to do me a favor.
A favor? What kind of favor?
In case you haven't figured it out, these are real, son. I want you to take this bag, go to that safe and fill it with real money.
I forgot the combination?
Does that help you to remember? Murphy, easy, Cole. Let this play out.
Just another minute, gentlemen.
Sorry, Mort.
See? Nothing's changed.
Mort, it wasn't meant to happen like this. I don't like this.
Look, just stick with the plan. Now, when Pepper cuts loose, head for the horses. By the time the dust clears, we'll be halfway to Pine Ridge.
Auction!
That's your cue. You're up.
They're robbing the bank! They're robbing the bank! They're robbing the bank! They're robbing the bank!
Ooh, I like that!
Murphy plugged you. You'll be all right. Now just stay here, keep your head down so you don't get it blown off.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Younger. No!
Game's afoot, my friend.
Watch out for Murphy, Cole.
boys and Mama out of here. Go, go.
Boys, lay flat. It's okay, Mom. It's okay. It's all right. Just stay back there.
Let's go, boys.
Bill!
The year was 1895, and the little town of Singletree, Montana, was celebrating its silver jubilee. Now, everyone within 20 miles of this little mining and cattle town would put their work aside today, get all dutied up, and head off to town just to cut that badger loose. Now, they had plenty of food and drink. They had a Pharaoh's tent, a medicine show, a big parade, and Sam and Gracie, local favorites, would perform. But the highlight of the day was a baseball game between a bunch of miners and ranch hands and a barnstorming professional team called themselves the Excelsior Aces. Now, no one in this town ever thought that a bunch of locals could compete with a professional team, but at the end of this day, winning and losing had nothing to do with baseball. For it would be published in newspapers far as Baltimore that this was the day the Aces got trumped.
In the late 1860s, Singletree, Montana was little more than a few tents and a cabin or two around Hiram Prouse Mine. The town got its name when Hiram's wagon broke a Singletree, forcing him to stop his westward journey in search of a new life. He took it as a sign and he staked his claim, and it wasn't long before other miners arrived, and by 1870, several permanent buildings had sprouted and the boomtown, appropriately named Singletree, was born. Unlike most boomtowns, Singletree flourished. The mines proved profitable, and it wasn't long before nearby ranchers found supplies and diversions in the little town. Within a year or so, Singletree boasted more than a saloon and an assay office. There soon was a livery, a general store, mortuary, boarding house, even a church and a school, and it helped take Singletree from boomtown to metropolis with culture and manners. Its status was cemented with the construction of a train station and the printing of the first issue of the Singletree Enterprise. News from back east was always popular, but nothing seemed as exciting for young and old alike as the sport of baseball.
In the western territory of Montana, cowboys were playing baseball as early as the year 1876. Baseball has been a staple of American culture since before the Civil War. Gene Autry even owned a baseball team. But did we ever see Roy Rogers hit a baseball? I wonder what it would have been like to see characters on shows like Bonanza run around a baseball diamond. I know it would have been strange to Hoss Cartwright and Little Joe. You tell me.
In the summer of 1895, Singletree celebrated its 25th anniversary with a baseball game pitting a local team against a team of the Excelsior Aces. While Singletree did not have an organized team, several area folks had played the game, and a couple had even seen the American Association's St. Louis Browns play in Sportsman's Park. The Excelsior Aces, however, were true professional ball players. True, most weren't not quite good enough to play in the American Association or the National League. Those that were usually had other, larger problems. Now, Crazy Joe Silver King, what a psycho he was. Ty Cobb called him the dirtiest player he'd ever seen. Once he ran from the field and into the crowd to beat up a handicapped heckler. Now, Crazy Joe, he ended up in Sing Sing prison for involuntary manslaughter. Seems he killed a restaurant cook in a brawl over an undercooked steak. Joe was very particular about his meat. Moses Foster, he was smart as a whip, strong as an ox, a college graduate, and he could hit the ball a mile. He had quite a temper, though. Now, you see, to avoid racial incidents, especially in the southern states, promoters called him the Cuban. He was just one of many early great black ball players that just couldn't cross baseball's unwritten color line. Now, Peach Pie O'Connor, he was the best hitter on the team, but he loved his food. Now, he was superstitious to a fault. He ate 2 plates of taters before every game. But in the summer of 1891, he injured himself badly sliding into second base with his eating utensils still in his back pocket. Most of the Barnstormers were skilled enough for a career in the minor leagues, but rather than put up with rules and regulations and rigorous training schedules, they, as Barnstormers, they could see different towns and different saloons and different women several times a week, and with little practice and even less attention to clean living, they could still easily win their games against unorganized town teams. This day, however, was to be just a bit different. The citizens of Singletree were so proud of their little town that nothing stood in the way of preparing for their silver jubilee. July morning was cool, promising perfect weather. From miles around, miners, ranchers, merchants, craftsmen, cowhands, they came knowing that for a few hours at least they could set their troubles aside and cut loose. And after filling their bellies with bean stew and homemade biscuits, fritters, and of course a few nips of corn whiskey, it was time for the pre-game show. Now, just before the game commenced, Singletree took the field to show off a bit itself. Several of the local town folk had dusted off their horns and drums, and they treated everyone to an original march composed just for the occasion. Then onto the field marched Singletree's 2 most popular citizens, Sam and Gracie. Everyone in the territory knew a little Samantha Ewan, who 5 years before had lost her grandfather during a bank robbery, and there's the first citizen of Singletree herself, Gracie, Sam's grandfather's mule that had foiled the hold-up that fateful day. They indeed both were the pride of Singletree. Crazy Joe Silver King, he got a bit distracted by all this, and seems most towns they visited wouldn't or couldn't put on such a show, but it wasn't just a show. Crazy Joe hated mules. It seemed he was kicked in the head more than once by such an animal when he was a child. Now, when the Aces took the field to warm up, the townsfolk crowded the third base line to see these marvelous athletes move with power and grace. Their black and red uniforms set them apart from the local players who wouldn't have had any way of identifying themselves were it not for the generous efforts of a local seamstress who made them all hats. The Aces business manager, Pepper Dean, was friends with mine owner and Singletree mayor, Wesley Rickey. After some negotiations, they agreed without the knowledge of the Aces players to stage today's event using the rules that were in place in the 1860s, you see, when Singletree was founded. So among other things, no gloves and no overhand pitching, and perhaps most important, a fly ball caught on one bounce was an out. This did not go over well with Crazy Joe Silver King or his players, but they wanted their paycheck at the end of the day, so the game commenced.
The team of professionals didn't like playing under the rules in the 1860s. The ball that was used in the 1890s is basically the same ball as today. The ball that was used in the 1860s is a larger ball, it's a much softer ball, did not travel as far, and therefore the guys that were playing in the 1890s didn't like using it. They didn't like a lot of the rules from the 1860s.
To everyone's surprise, the hometown team, while still being behind the Aces, they was putting up a real fight. This was not going to be the route the Aces were used to. So when the hothead team captain, Crazy Joe Silver King, stepped up to the line to face Singletree's pitcher, Cy McCall, he had blood in his eye. Now, hugging the third base line was the first citizen, Gracie, who sensed the striker's anger and knew just what to do to rattle. Now, baseball's a funny game. Momentum can change in the blink of an eye. And on that fine afternoon with Crazy Joe Silver King at bat, it did. The town couldn't believe their eyes. Si McCall left the pitcher's line, and little Sam Ewing took matters into her own hands.
My great-grandfather worked for the C.A. Carter Ranch in Singletree, Montana. And it happened on that day that he was on his way into town to pick up Maggie Carter's daughter, Kate. And, of course, we know all what he observed is because Granddad kept a detailed journal. And this is actually what he wrote about that day. As we drew closer to the field, it was apparent that what had started out as a friendly contest had become a no-holds-barred free-for-all. I was ashamed for young Catherine on the day of her homecoming to witness such a display of human behavior at its basis. Where the terrain had afforded me another route to the Carter Ranch.
When the dust settled in that little hollow near Singletree, Montana, the most prevalent injury was a bruised ego. Now, even though the Excelsior Aces had more runs on the board when the frenzy erupted, everyone in Singletree knew this was the day the Aces got trumped.